Hi, this is Christopher James with Branson Talk, and we are here for our pretty much annual thing. What is this, like the fifth time that I've talked to you, I think?
It's probably the fourth time, but
Well, we had
counting?
our Kids Connection one with you.
That's true.
So we had the
That's true.
interviews. So,
Yeah.
but we are here with Mayor, what is it again? Karen Best.
Yeah.
And
Wait, what's my name? Hold on. Yeah, it's still that.
I don't even remember my name sometimes.
I feel the same on certain days.
Well, you're a lot busier than I am, so it is crazy sometimes. But we're here. It is March of 2019, in case you're watching this in 3 years and start commenting about things.
Yes.
But it's always fun to talk with you.
It's always great to talk to you, too. Man, I tell you, I've been watching you, and you have just been killing it in this off-season.
Oh, it's been really crazy.
You've been putting Branson on the map everywhere outside of the area. You're a great ambassador.
Oh, well, thanks. Maybe there's a little scratch in there for me somewhere.
Hey, if I had some money, I'd be throwing it your way. I saw you were at the Magic Castle.
Magic Castle. That was a scary adventure.
That is amazing, because I don't know if people in our area know how unique that is and what a compliment it is to you and your craft.
Oh, well, thanks.
To be invited to perform there. I've been there many times, and I know the quality of entertainment that goes in and out of that facility, and I'm telling you, you have to be the best of the best. And
well, I certainly appreciate that.
You are, that's for sure.
It was nerve-wracking because I showed up and it was Founders Week, which was like all the people that had started the Magic Castle, magicians from around the world came, and I had
no pressure there.
No, and I really didn't know until I got there how big of a deal. And so it was quite an honor because I was one of 10 magicians that got to work from anywhere in the world, so that was fun.
It's a big deal, and like I said, I don't know if people all over the country know what a big deal it was, but as soon as I read that and saw what you were doing, I was so excited for you.
Oh, well,
because
thanks.
I knew
what
a great opportunity it was for you to show your craft and how great you are. So
well, thanks.
Thank you for representing Branson on that.
Well,
I
appreciate that.
Stage.
I appreciate that because you're all over the place promoting Branson. I see you on Facebook all the time, your adventures. I love your weekly summaries that you do of what you have going on. But I was lucky enough that at the Magic Castle, my shows were at 11 o'clock at night. They were very late. And so during the day, I did tons of podcasts. I did a television interview, and we talked about Branson like crazy. They had so many questions about Branson.
You know, when you love where you live, it's not hard to do that.
No.
So, you and I are both walking commercials no matter where we go.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Singing its praises.
And our talk show and stuff has been hugely popular. We got a thing from iTunes that we are getting close to 1 million downloads. So
that is incredible. Good for you.
5 years.
Good for you.
5 years. But anyways, we are here to talk about Branson and what's been going on. A little summary of 2018. We've had a lot of things open this year, a lot of announcements and stuff. And what are some of the highlights that you would consider to be the biggest things that have been announced that are either coming to Branson or opened up within the last year?
You know, it's been a really phenomenal year, and I think what kind of sets 2018 apart from some of the other years is that we've had a lot of year-round jobs come in this year with the opening of Mercy Clinic. You know, that's brought many year-round jobs, good-paying jobs to the area. And we always love it when we can welcome new businesses to town. In the way of entertainment, we had Andy B's come to town, and if you haven't been there yet, that's a lot of fun waiting to happen. And so there's lots of restaurants, attractions that have come to town, and so we just continue to evolve. You know, where else in America can you have so much fun in one day? Doing such a diverse amount of activities. You can see shows. We have some of the world-class entertainment here when it comes to shows, shopping, dining, attractions, lakes, you name it.
All the golf courses, we got everything.
Yes, and Coeur Crenshaw opened this year in 2018, and this year the soft opening for Tiger Woods will be at the end of the year. And you've got Paula Dean's coming in this summer. You've got Wonderworks coming in this year.
My kids are so excited for that.
There's just so many cool things.
Yeah, and we have the Aquarium broke ground.
The Aquarium will be open next spring.
Now, one of the things that people bring up all the time is they'll say, well, we're getting a lot of attractions in town. We're getting away from, our core audience. But I don't feel that way. I feel like we now have something for every age because we still have all the shows. We still have
do.
all of the shows that have been around. Well, not all of the shows, but we still have the shows that have been around for years. Your Presleys, your Bald Knobbers. Clay Cooper has put a big investment in with his theater.
And I think with the shows, one of the things you're seeing is that they're getting a lot more consolidated into one location, where you might have had, this show here and another show here and another show here. Now they're combining and they're being in one location.
Right.
So you'll have multiple shows in one theater, and that's cost effective for them, and that helps them and works for them. And we've had a couple of theaters that have closed recently, but every show that was located in that theater has been relocated to another theater. So that's great.
Yeah.
We're not losing our shows.
Yeah.
Which is, you don't want to lose that tradition because that's such a part of our history.
Right.
I was just thinking yesterday, I was just writing some answers to some questions that had come up during this recent campaign. And, it got me to thinking about the tradition and going back to my childhood and how when I was a kid, we would come here and we would see the Bald Knobbers and the Presleys. And that was so cool and so much fun. And I want kids today to have some of those same experiences that I had as a kid.
Right.
We would go spend the day at the lake and then we'd go see a show at night. So, there's really something for everybody.
And I say that too. We did an informal survey on our website, and we asked people, when was the first time you came to Branson? How old were you? And most of them were kids. And so I think a lot of people forget that they came here as kids. So we, need things for all ages. We need stuff for the little kids and for the older generation, for everybody. And I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Just because we have this fun park for kids doesn't mean that we're trying to cut out the entertainment for older groups.
My parents are a great example because my mother loves to go to shows. If I say, let's go to a show, my mom's the first one in the car. My dad, he's not the show guy, but my dad loves to fish and golf. So I go fishing and golfing with dad, and I go to the shows with mom, and everybody gets to do something that they love.
Right.
And it's great. But I was actually 7 years old the first time I came to Branson because we moved to Springfield in 1966. And so, I've grown up my whole life. Branson was part of my life.
Yeah. You were a teacher, weren't you?
I was.
What did you teach?
I taught elementary school. I taught everything from first grade to sixth grade.
Really?
Yes.
Just all
up and down.
Oh, my goodness. And where did you teach?
I started out with a first and second grade combination class, and that was a great challenge. Loved them. And I was like, I can't teach anybody older.
Yeah.
And then I went to sixth grade, and I was like, how did I ever teach the little ones? So, you kind of get used to whatever age level you're with.
Right.
They're all wonderful.
Right. So we asked people some questions that they might have.
Oh, okay. Make them easy for me.
They're not hard at all because I think we've discussed some of them before.
Okay.
First of all, I know the mayor, the position, gets paid a huge salary.
I do. I get to bring home $138 a week.
Oh, see, I was close.
Yeah.
So
I'm
it's
trying
not
to figure
really
out
a
which
full-time...
bill do I want to pay with this?
Yeah, or go out to eat twice, basically.
Exactly.
So it's not like a huge city where they have like a full-time mayor that's there all the time, right? Because some people have that misconception.
Yes.
That, okay.
We're what's called a week mayor. We have a city administrator that runs the day-to-day operations.
W-E-E-K.
W-E-A-K.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
W-E-A-K. There's a strong mayor and a weak mayor. The strong mayor runs the everyday operations of the city, and a weak mayor has a city administrator that runs the day-to-day operations. So we're a weak mayor.
Okay.
And so I don't vote. In strong mayors, they vote, but in weak mayors, I don't vote unless there's a tie.
What are some misconceptions that people have that they think that you could fix or you could change? That maybe is not part of the mayoral duties.
One of my favorite calls in the 4 years that I've been mayor was this sweet man called and was having a hard time getting his doctor's appointment, getting in to see his doctor for a doctor's appointment. And so he called me and asked me if I could please call his doctor and see if he could get in closer than 6 weeks. And I was like, dude, I can't even get into my own doctor in less than 6 weeks. So I don't think I can help you. But I think people think that we have a lot of control on what happens. We're not part of the legislative branch. We're part of the executive branch. So it's really the Board of Aldermen that makes all the ordinances, makes all the rules and regulations. And like I said, if there's a tie, then I will break the tie. But they're really the ones that do that. So I am more the face of the community, the face of Branson, the ambassador that goes out. And a lot of times developers will come to me and say, this is what I'm wanting to do in Branson. You know, can you give me some help and guidance? And, you know, do you think this will work? Do you think this won't work? And, you know, I'm able to share with them what's important to our community, what our value system is, because, you know, there's some businesses that are great fits and there's some businesses that I just don't think will do very well in town.
Right.
So just being honest with them and telling them, you know, here's the community, here's what's important, here's our system of how things work, and then getting them to the appropriate folks who can help them to get done what they need done. And sometimes that's what people do. They just call and say, I don't even know where to go. Can you help me? And sometimes you're a traffic cop saying, you know, go here, go here.
I've done that. I called you.
Exactly.
I got a hold of you about some things.
Exactly.
We were starting a new business and stuff, and so I didn't know what to do and stuff.
And,
so
and it's nice to be able to be able to help people in that way, because, you know, that's, you know, my personal belief system and my personal mission statement is hope, helping other people excel.
Oh.
So, you know, you just want to make sure that you can help people get to where they need. They'll ask me questions and I don't always have the answer, but I can usually find out how to get it.
Yeah.
And so I'll at least get you in the right direction of where you need to go.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't understand the capitalism aspect of having a business. They think that when businesses just aren't succeeding in town,
I can do something about it.
Yeah.
I can close them down, or if a certain business comes to town and it's not a business people want here, I cannot legally say who comes to town and who doesn't come to town. But your pocketbooks and your checkbooks and your money will decide who comes and who stays and who comes and who goes.
Because I've seen some people comment, as we're getting the Aquarium, we're getting WonderWorks, a lot of these things geared towards teens and younger kids, saying, well, we should stop allowing all these things to open. Well, that's not something that anyone can really do. I mean, it's a business other than the public. I always say if they're not making money, they wouldn't open these things.
Exactly.
And they're obviously making
called
money.
Free market.
Exactly.
And that's how free market works.
And what about another concern people had were the long-term stays at hotels? What are the issues with that?
Extended stays.
Yeah.
For me personally, the issue is everybody, whether you're a citizen or a visitor, deserves a safe, clean place to stay and to live.
Right.
And so some of the things we were finding is that there were code violations, there were fire code violations, there were health department violations happening in our extended stay motels. And so as we've come across those issues, we've given the hotel owners an opportunity to remedy those. And if you didn't remedy with them within a certain amount of time, then you were shut down.
Right.
And we have personally, as the city, shut down 10 extended stay hotels in the last year, and 3 have shut down on their own. They knew what was going on, and so the word got out pretty quickly that it must be acceptable for people to live.
Right.
The folks who live there, we were able to relocate into other extended stay hotels. But we have an expectation in this community that you're going to live in a place that is safe for you to live in.
Right, right. And that goes kind of along the same line to me as the businesses, where you have to, it's kind of a fine line as to what is an extended stay, because I own condos, a lot of people in town own condos, and I rent them to entertainers that are coming into town and just working for a few weeks and things like that. So if they really started regulating, then you're going to start hurting the people that are doing it right as well. I mean, if you
you're doing
limit
it right and you have a safe place to live, you have nothing to worry about.
Right.
If you're not doing it correct and it's an unsafe place, then I would be very concerned.
I would be concerned if I owned
our
it.
new lodging ordinance will not allow that. So we have a couple of more that we're working with right now, and their future is dependent upon whether they clean everything up that needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah. So we have the laws and stuff. It's just a matter.
We're pretty adamant about that.
Well, that's good. That's good. The other thing people bring up is we need to do a lot of cleanup from the different lots we have in empty theaters, but that's not something the city can really do if they're not violating anything.
That is correct.
I mean, that's up to the business owners. Like, they need to, the public needs to contact the people that own those buildings and try to get them to do something.
And if there's something that is really bad, don't hesitate to reach out to the city. Our planning department takes care of the code enforcements. And so if it's breaking a code, please reach out to us, because we want to make sure that everything is as good as it can be.
Right. And something that I noticed, someone asked about that I think has improved was the panhandler situation. I don't see it as much anymore. I still see it,
but... That's a tough one because, we had a panhandling ordinance that was working really well.
Right.
But then the Supreme Court came along and made a judgment to where we can no longer read the signs that people are holding up. So we can't legally tell if they are panhandling or not panhandling. So our ordinance kind of went to the wayside because we can't enforce it.
Right.
And so some communities around the country have done things that have been very successful, and we have been researching those. Right now, there is a court case that is going on with Joplin, Missouri, and we're watching that very closely. So if you'll just be patient with us, I guarantee you that moving forward, this year we should have some good remedies for the panhandling situation.
That's good. It doesn't seem
are
like
working on it, but we have to do it in a legal process. And I tell you what, some of the Supreme Court decisions that have been coming down have been very tough. There's another court case that we're watching in Costa Mesa, California, that has to do with residential drug facilities and homes and what's required from them, because we're not able to regulate them as well, which is becoming an issue in our community. And so Costa Mesa has it in their ordinance that every home must have a supervisor in the home, and that supervisor cannot have a felony. And so in the lower court, they won, but it's going to the Ninth District Court of Appeals. And if they lose there, then it will go to the Supreme Court. They'll ask for it to be heard there.
Right.
So that could impact us as well. And then Boise, Idaho has an ordinance that was challenged, and that was to not allow homeless people to sleep in public areas. And they lost that case, and that's going to the Ninth District Court of Appeals too, and then that may go to the Supreme Court. And what that means is that if that is overruled, if that is not able to be enforced at Boise, Idaho, that means anybody can sleep anywhere they want that's public property.
Oh,
So
wow.
our Highway 76 corridor that we're working so hard on,
Right.
People could sleep on the sidewalks because that's public property.
Oh, wow.
And that could really change.
That would change a lot.
That would change a lot, not just here, but all across the country. So, as a mayor, you hear these cases and you watch them very closely, and that's why those relationships with other mayors across the country are so important to be able to know and to be able to work together and to be able to support each other.
Yeah.
Through getting those legal system challenges worked through.
Okay, so we've done all the serious questions that were
Okay,
submitted.
okay.
So now let's talk about the fun stuff.
Okay.
So you've been traveling a lot. I saw you've been to the White House, right?
Yes.
You did that.
Yes.
You went there. You've been all over the place as the ambassador of Branson there. What have been some of the most positive experiences you've had? What have you learned as you travel? What has been the most fun for you? Give me some highlights from the last year of what you've done.
It's been very fun to go to Washington, D.C. and to be able to share Branson's story.
Yeah.
That's what I love doing the most, is getting to share what's great about here, what's our challenges, and to really try and have people to work together with us. The first trip I went to the White House, I was one of 6 mayors to speak out of 90 mayors that were at the meeting, to be able to tell what's important to us, what issues we have, and what challenges, and to really get them to understand what Branson is. Because people don't understand that we have 10,500 people that are residents, but on 4th of July week, we'll have 250,000 people in town, and on Veterans Week, we'll have 150 to 175,000 people in town, and they're like, whoa, what do you do?
That's what I try to explain to people.
How do you get people to fill the jobs, et cetera? So that's been great. This last trip to D.C., I was asked to be on a panel that discussed immigration, and when you think of immigration, you don't really think of Branson, Missouri, but we have our J1 and H2B workers that come in to help us during our peak seasons, so was able to share that story. That's the part I love about getting to travel the United States, because we do a great job of marketing to those people who are close to us, but when it gets out into markets that are far outside of our reach, people don't know Branson, people don't understand Branson, and so that's where I love getting to share the story, because they're like, wait, you have 3 lakes and you have golf courses?
You're saying the same things that I talk about.
And you have theaters and you have more theater seats on Broadway and than on Broadway. And they're like, I had no idea.
Yeah. When I was at the
love
Magic
that.
Castle, that happened. They were asking me, so what is Branson? Because they would use that as part of my intro, and also on cruise ships. And I explained, we have 10,000 people. Last year we got like 9 million visitors that came to town, and they're like,
and
wait,
we have this
what?
many McDonald's, and we have this many Taco Bells, and
So there's like
and we have a
100
Best
shows,
Buy, and we
and-
have a Target, and we have Walmart. They're like, wait, and you have 10,000 people? That's absurd.
Yeah,
when
that's what everybody would say. They're like, in Missouri? What? Because
How far
people
is
from
that
right
from
around
Kansas
here.
City and St. Louis, and I'm like, well, okay, so it's 2.5 hours south east of Kansas City, and it's 3.5 to 4 hours southwest of St. Louis.
Yeah, and now the airport, though.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't talk about that because we have all those
so
flights.
excited about that.
Oh, you
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
I am tired of driving to Springfield at 4 o'clock in the morning. So this is
Exactly.
great.
Exactly. I have already taken a Frontier flight out of there, and I'm so excited that they're expanding this year into
know.
Chicago and Houston. And
Yeah, so fly out of Branson Airport so I can
Yes.
stop driving to Springfield. I'm selfish. Do it for me.
Exactly. And our flights were packed when we flew. Mm-hmm. So I'm very happy that they're doing
I
well.
just want that to succeed so bad.
Yes.
I tell everybody I live 5 minutes from the Branson Airport, but it takes me close to an hour to get to the Springfield one. And my agent that books me everywhere always books Springfield. And I'm like, please, we need more flights out of Branson. So finally.
Yes, I'm so happy, so happy. And I even took Via Air to Austin, Texas. And that was a great flight as well. That was a nice little bonus.
Yeah, but there's can you give us any clues or any hints of things that you know about that may be coming in 2019? I'll ask you about one real quick.
I can tell you that there's $600 million worth of investment that is in the pipeline just for Branson. There's $1 billion in the area,
Right.
But just Branson, we have $600 million. And
Seems like a lot.
there's so many cool things that are coming that
Yeah.
I can't quite tell yet.
Can you
but
tell us anything about Aldi's? I
that's-
hear about it all the time.
That's the funny thing. Aldi's has been to City Hall. They have met with Open for Business, which is what companies do when they're getting ready to come to town. They will do Open for Business so that
Yep,
they
I did
can.
that. I had to do that.
They can, you know what the process is. You come in, you tell them where your site is, they look it over, and you have police and fire and building
Right.
codes and everybody around the table. So if there's any issues, they can tell you, you might want to look here. So they have come through the Open for Business. And so at this point,
that's good.
what I can share.
All right.
And
That's it.
I
Any
just-
other hints of anything
I just
else?
say stay tuned.
All right, because last time you gave us a little insight
know,
about
and
the
I
jet
got-
boats, and we love the
Yeah.
jet boats.
And I got beat up about Aldi's because I really thought they were going to announce on Tuesday, the location of where they were going, and for whatever reason they've chosen. Now, I will tell you that my mother shops at Aldi's in Springfield, and every time she goes there, they tell her it's coming. Now, the last time she was there, they said that they ran into a couple of issues and that they had to push it back to 2020.
Okay.
So that's what my
don't know.
mother's been told. And our friend was over yesterday, and she said I was at Aldi's in Nixa, and they said that we're definitely
People are
getting one
nuts
in
about
Branson.
Aldi's.
So all the employees of Aldi's seem to know we're getting an Aldi's, but the corporate of Aldi's, for whatever reason, is
Not committing right now.
not committing at the moment. So
Well, we got a lot of other things opening.
according
the
to everybody
waterworks.
else, we're getting one.
Yeah.
So
People ask us all the time.
I get that question probably more than any other question
Oh, really?
you could ask.
People are
That's-
nuts. I've only been to one Aldi's, and I was
I
a little
love them.
Do you? I was a little
Wow.
confused because you had to put a quarter in or something
Yes,
to use a
get
cart.
your shopping cart, yes, and
didn't-
then you have to collect your boxes as you go along because you
Oh,
need
no.
those to carry them back out
I'm
to
so
the car.
lazy. I get to the end, I'm like, why aren't you
love it.
bagging my groceries? And they're like, oh no, you have
Yeah.
to bag your own. I'm like, oh no,
It's okay. I can take care of that.
I'm just
let me know.
it's not.
Let me know next time you're going. I'll go with you. and
Well,
I'll-
the point
I'll-
is that
I'll
I'm
be
just
your guide.
incompetent when it comes to that. Because when I've done that,
love
it,
it.
like everything's smashed
Yeah.
and everything's broken
Yeah,
when I
you're
get back.
like,
'Cause
oh.
I have anxiety issues, and like at Walmart, the self checkout just gives me a breakdown.
Yeah,
I'm
just
just throwing everything
call me
in
next
the
time
bag.
and
Oh.
I'll meet you there and I'll take,
Oh no!
take care of boxing them up for you.
My wife was laughing because she went to Chicago with me because we did the Chicago Magic Lounge. Amazing. Okay.
That's what I haven't been to.
I
yet.
know. Let me just tell you real quick, okay? Because we need this, all right? So I've talked to a couple people. We need to open this up in Branson, something like this. But you go in, it looks like an old laundromat, right, with the machines going.
Uh-huh.
So you walk in, it looks just like a laundromat. Clothes are going in the washer and dryer. There's a little phone for service. You pick it up, you tell them your name and stuff, and the washer's open. And you go in.
cool.
Yeah. And so I got a tour by the owners, and they told me that people still come in and try to use the washing machines because it was a laundromat. They bought it and they just converted it over.
That is cool.
But it is a top secret little lounge. So you go into the first lounge and you're being entertained with bar magic and people hanging out and just having a good time, very classy. And then the fireplaces lift up and you go into the main theater, and that's where you watch the show. So
That's cool. Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, do it.
When you were at the Magic Castle, was Irma still there?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you tell everybody who
Yes.
Irma is?
So
'Cause Irma's the coolest ever.
Irma's the ghost that lives at the Magic Castle. And so you go into a little lounge when you're waiting to watch a show, and you can talk to Irma, and there's a piano in there. And as you talk, the piano bench will turn towards you, like she's listening to you. You can request a song, and she'll start playing it on the piano, never misses a song.
Never.
Knows every
Never,
song.
ever.
I've seen her do rap songs and anything. People try to stump her. And then if you request a bunch of songs, there's a bird cage on the piano, and it'll kind of rock a little bit. And in there are dollar bills, like tips. And so it's her asking for a tip. And
I forgot
yeah.
about the bird cage.
Yeah, the bird
That's
cage.
hilarious.
And so if you say, you're doing a great job, Irma, she'll do on the keys. I'm not musical, I can't do it, but she'll do, thank you. Like, you'll hear the keys, But people sit in there and they can't figure it out. They're trying to figure out how she's listening.
We would be like, okay, there's
top
got
secret.
to be somebody. There's like some kind of hologram or something
Yeah,
to where
there's
there's a
nothing.
person there. We could never figure it out.
I know.
There's
And the
gotta
cool
be
thing,
something, but I'm not.
and you can find videos about the Magic Castle on YouTube, but the cool thing about working at that venue that I liked is there are no cameras. You're not allowed to take selfies in there. You're not allowed to have your phone out in there because there's a lot of celebrities that come. The night I worked, we had a bunch of celebrities, and we're not really supposed to say who they were and stuff. I'll tell you later. And but it's where entertainers and celebrities can come and enjoy magic and stuff, and they don't want them to worry about that.
It's not a place where you can go and actually buy a ticket.
No.
You either have to be a member or you have to be a guest of a member. And so it's a pretty exclusive place to go. And
Yeah,
so,
a lot of people
again,
don't
I'm
know.
just so
Also,
proud of you.
Johnny Carson. Well, thank you. Johnny Carson was big at the Magic Castle. Neil Patrick Harris was the president for a while. And when I was there, I sat in the Cary Grant booth. He had his own booth, and they have stained glass with his picture in it now because he would always sit there. He was a magician as well. People don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he
That's
was the
awesome.
only person allowed to have a phone in the Magic Castle because he actually helped institute no phones. He wanted people to come for the entertainment, but he had a private phone in his booth in case he got a call. And he was the only person allowed to have a phone.
This is going to tell you how old I am.
Uh-oh.
When I went to the Magic Castle, we had no phones.
Yeah.
Cell phones hadn't really been.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing at the shows here in town, and I say this in our show at the Showboat Branson Bell, come by and see us, is that you need to come in and put your phone away and enjoy the live entertainment. So,
As I sit here with my two phones, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Well, people,
Yeah.
I think they live for the moment of recording what they're doing rather than doing it. They're so worried
That is
about
very
taking
true.
and documenting, hey, I ate this. Hey, this is my, young people, this is my first kiss. This is my first date on this. They're so busy documenting it that it kind of ruins
That's
it.
our life these days.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But our website is doing great. You've always been a big supporter of us since the very first day we started.
Absolutely.
And so
Big fan.
Thank you. We've reached 26,000 people now on our Branson page.
That's awesome.
And so thank you for your support. Good luck with the election.
Thank you.
And
Thank
thanks
you.
for taking the time every
You
year
bet.
to give us these updates.
It's my honor and it's my privilege to get to hang out with you. Like I said, I'm a huge fan.
Oh, thanks.
Huge fan of you. Huge fan of your talent.
Well, thank you very much.
You do a great job, and you've done this for a long time. And the thing I like about it the most is you've done it with a pure heart.
Oh, thanks.
You really want what's best for Branson, and
We do.
that comes through in your interviews. It comes through in everything that you do, and
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
I know I don't say
people
that
are always
enough.
people are skeptical about that, and I run into that. They always think there's something else, but
There's an agenda, and there's not.
There's not.
No.
Like, I purely started it because I had some small business owners that couldn't afford billboards because they're so expensive between here and Springfield. They were like, we're having trouble advertising our business, and so we started it to start advertising these smaller businesses, and it's been 5 years, and yeah, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
But any money we raise, we get a lot of people that donate tickets and things like that. We give them all back and donate everything. We want to make $1 a year.
That's
so
good.
That's it.
Hey, you could be mayor.
Oh,
You want to make $1 a year? You could be mayor.
and that's the end of our interview. No politics for me. Well, thanks again. This is Christopher James, and thanks for watching us on Branson Talk here with Mayor Best, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.